hope you're getting on well. Thank you very much for clicking on episode 2 of OB After Hours. This week's is a very, very special episode for me. It is with one of the most exciting young songwriters to emerge in 2021. Not just that, he's a local artist. He's from Drogheda. He's won Little Mix's The Search on BBC. He's a lifelong friend of mine. It's no other than Matthew Nolan. Matthew Nolan is part of Since September band. They won Little Mix's The Search. They have their first album launching at the start of 2022, along with going on tour with Little Mix. There is so much to talk about, and the fact he has over 5 million streams. Incredible. Can't wait to have a chat, and let's get into it. It's good to have you on, man. It's good to see you.
Mate, it's good to be here. It's good to see you doing something like this. Is this video as well? Are people gonna?
Yeah. If you're so willing, of course. Like.
No, of course.
Yeah. Where are you now? Are you in your apartment?
Yeah, I'm in my flat. Yeah, in London, in my gaff.
Okay. How's that going for you over there? If you just actually on that, folks. On that note, we're going to start the podcast. We're going to quickly just jump in here and start the podcast. And welcome. I'd like to welcome Matthew on, a lifelong friend of mine, to the podcast, and also one of the best musicians I know. Matthew, how are you keeping?
Yes, thank you for that. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Pleasure to be here.
I'm good. It's absolutely great to have you on, especially starting off. Like, I couldn't ask for anyone better for my second episode. So it's great to have you. Great. Matthew, I'd like to first of all start off by just giving people a little bit of background as to kind of who you are and where you come from, because it is obviously a little intro done at the start, but I suppose from your sense, like you obviously come from Drogheda, so I'd like you to just tell us a bit about who is Matthew.
Okay, nice. So I'm Matthew Nolan's my name. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician. I've been born and bred in Drogheda, as proudly so, and yeah, I've been doing music for a couple of years. Really, I've been writing songs for a couple of years. Songwriting is my main gig. It's my main passion. It's my main hobby, apart from drinking. And that's something that I've been lucky enough to be able to get into pretty seriously over the last kind of 7-8 months. So I'm now living in London. Pursue that with my band Since September. Who we're lucky enough to have the opportunity to go on tour with Little Mix next year, so that's kind
incredible. And we'll get into that in more detail later in the podcast. How that came to be, that's incredible just by itself.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just a Drogheda man, just see me in Odd Molly's, see me around.
Duende.
See me in Duende.
Yeah. You have to keep it close to home, don't you?
That's the local. That's a 5-minute walk.
Shop local, drink local, innit?
Yes, sir. That's me, really. I think I've just living.
Yeah, you're just Matthew Nolan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's what we love about you. Like, I knew that. Let's say I knew one day you were always going to be, because I've known Matthew since we were, I think, 2 years old or 3 years old. So there was always something different about Matthew. I'd say there was always something different about you. Like, it was like you had this charisma. My mom always said it. It's just funny. My mother had a play school in her house, a creche, you could say, and Matthew attended, and I attended sometimes when I was when I woke up to go down. And I suppose growing up, we always knew each other, and we just always had a good relationship. So that's where I feel like Matthew was always destined for greatness. But at the same time, I always knew it would not go to your head. I can see by you have not changed at all. If anything, you're actually more crack now than you were before. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
You can only improve, yeah.
More comfortable,
Yeah.
That's it, man. Yeah, thank you. I've just been. Thank you for that. It's just you hear a lot of horror stories, I'm not. I might just add, I'm not a fraction of the way where I hope to be one day, but it's nice to start living some of the things that you've always wanted to live, and for people to say you're still it's only been a short amount of time. I might switch in the morning, but hopefully not. Hopefully not.
But I had an interesting conversation with your father. Your father earlier, and he was saying that, what was his words exactly? I think he said that he he was like, one day you turn around and you wanted to be a songwriter, and he was like, what? And he then realized that you were onto something great. Like that's what you were kind of destined to do. Like, and I would you've an unbelievable voice, but like being able to write songs, that's probably one of the most toughest creative processes anyone can go through. Like, how do you deal with, because like the aim of this podcast is to give people, just if there's a little snippet they can take from this podcast that they can help improve whatever aspect of their life that they might be struggling with, or they would just want to improve. So like when you approach, what do they call it? Is it mental block?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you suffer a writer's mental block, I think it was the correct terminology. But like when you approach that, like what's do you have a routine in which if you fall into that, you do certain things to just overcome it? Like what's Matthew's way of overcoming it?
Yeah, good question. I think with me, I'm not too hard on myself. I don't take anything too serious, like professionally or non-professionally. I think I write a lot from, you know, most of my writing comes from my living. I write about things that I do, and I write about things that I see, and I write about things that I feel more than anything. And basically, with that comes, I don't tell myself to sit down as I should. My manager is probably listening now, saying you need to, but like, I don't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a song, and I'm going to. So I haven't, like, some days I have had writer's block, and there's nothing worse than that for me, because what I'm trying to say is I only write songs when I feel like it, and when I
You
feel
get
like,
you get the
yeah,
feeling
when I
that you
have
want to
something
do
to write
shit.
about, when I want to write a story, and then it's like when I can't get my story out, it's quite frustrating, because I only ever want to write when I want to say something. And sometimes sitting down, knowing what you want to say, but maybe not finding the melody, or maybe not finding the words to say it in the best way, is very frustrating. And I think the best thing to do is just park it. Personally, for me, is just get up, leave it, count, like, go do something else. Like, whether, like, if it's a Tuesday afternoon, just drop it, go to the shop, go get a coffee, do your normal thing, and you might come back to it in a day. You might come back to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
would you say that, like, that frustration that comes over you? Let's say when you go, shit, I cannot, I cannot, I am 90% of the way there,
Mm.
but it's just not. It will not reach that 100%. Like, is there like, would you go for walks? Do you put your headphones in, or do you just focus on something else completely? Like, do you have, if you were to give one point to someone who, let's say there's a 16-year-old and they're writing their third song, but they've hit that block.
Yeah.
What would your biggest piece of advice be to them?
My advice personally would be to never force it. So, like you said, if you have 90%, don't, like, if you have 90%, leave it. A lot of people would tell you to, like, push through and stuff. But if you've got a verse and a chorus, for example, and that's all you have, leave it. Like, the way I write is I often write a verse, a pre-chorus, and a chorus, and then I'll send it to my producer Fionn, and he'll send me an instrumental, and then I'll write the rest of it when I have the instrumental. So I've never written a second verse.
Okay,
With,
fair enough. Yeah,
like, I always write a second verse when I'm in the studio. It's just a habit of mine. So I think my advice would be just to find what works for you, and if it's not coming out, don't force it, because it often won't be what you want to say. I think the more time you can allow something, because then again, it's supposed to be expression, and if you can't express yourself in that moment, don't force it.
that's that's a wonderful way to put it. Actually, don't force it, because I'm hearing that a lot in, like, from yourself. I'm hearing it from other people in around, I suppose, life. I'm hearing, don't force it. That seems to be the biggest, because when you force things, do you ever, like, when we were growing up, I suppose you're younger, you want things quicker, so you'd be constantly looking, oh, how can I make money, or how could I do this, or how can I get big real quick? Yeah, but when
Yeah.
you're stead focused on that and nothing else, you never, when you force things, and nothing ever comes. Nothing ever comes. But the moment you have your sights on, like, achievable task, and you have a plan set up, like, not even goals, I don't say goals anymore, because it's the
Okay.
systems you put in place to reach the goals. And then
Yeah.
when you reach the goal, what do you do? So let's say if you said to yourself, my goal is to win the the search at the Little Mix competition.
Yeah.
Let's say that was your goal, and you reached that, and you won it, which is incredible. Did I say that right? The search.
Yeah. Little mixed search. Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, like, let's say you just got to that point, and you're like, you woke up the next morning and you just think, all right, what now? Like
Mm.
you can't go much
Yeah.
further. But you just love what you do. You just do it.
Yeah.
You just love what you do, and
Exactly.
that's it's very important to. I'm very grateful that I get to love what I do in this place too. Like if you do what you love, you'll do it well.
Yeah.
That's the biggest lesson. And some of us are fortunate to be able to do that. Like
Exactly.
I can tell by you're extremely grateful for everything you have.
100%, mate. Really, really am.
Yeah, and your parents are so nice.
Yeah, they're very, very, very good people. They shape me, and they're very proud. They're very supportive. They always have been. Even when I dropped out of college, and when it's not so
What are your parents' names?
Jim and Jer.
Jim and Jerry.
Jim and
Jim and
Jer.
Jerry. Yeah, it sounds like they could have a show. Well, it could
Yeah,
happen. Probably no one knew.
Jim and Jer.
Yeah, no one knew that would probably happen. I'd say.
Oh no, my mom loves it. They both love it. To be fair, they both love the camera. They both love all that stuff more than me. I'd say I'm not really into the camera stuff, but they love it. But
Fair enough. Yeah, it was funny actually. He was getting a haircut and he came in and just sat in this chair here where I am. Yeah, like
yeah,
in the little studio we built, and he was so comfortable. He was just like sitting here for 3 or 4 minutes on the camera, which we'll have a little snippet at some point. We'll just throw it in there. But it's great to see. Like that's one thing I love about life, and especially my job, and I suppose your job as well. You get to meet so many cool people, and you see different personalities and everything like that. So that
yeah.
leads me on to the search.
Okay.
I would like to know first of all, for people listening or watching here who have never heard of number one, Little Mix, and number two, the search. What is the search, and who are Little Mix?
Okay, so
I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, if you're living on, you might be living on the rock if you don't know Little Mix. In fairness, but
well, Little Mix, probably don't need an introduction, but they're a girl group, right? They're the biggest girl group in the world, and they won the X Factor in 2011, and they were looking to return the favor to another band because they were so grateful for the opportunity they got in the X Factor, and they put on their own show called Little Mix the Search, which was on BBC One. I think it aired in October, and it was the best experience of my life, on and off camera, more so off camera, more so the things you didn't see. It was just like being at summer camp, mate. It was just the most amazing thing. It was just like I was floating for 8 weeks. It was amazing.
it was
Nothing.
like an out of body experience.
Yeah, nothing mattered. All that mattered was that we were content and all that. And the producers, it puts a smile on my face speaking. I haven't spoken about it in a long time, and something that I value so much because I'll never get there again. And the thing is, I say I'll never get there again, and it means that. Oh, I'll come back to this. Basically, Little
Yeah,
Mix.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I like
Little Mix the
that.
Search is. I'll answer your question. Sorry, I was rambling. Little Mix the Search was a television show that they aired, and the winner. So basically, they set out for 6 bands. They had 6 categories that were in mind already. So they had rap, R&B, boy band, instrumental band. I was put into the instrumental band. There was a stage. There was a couple of stages of auditions. There was 3 stages of auditions in that group, and then I got put into the final band. Then you got put into live shows against the other 5 bands, and the finalist, the winner, got to go on tour with Little Mix in 2022 on their I think it's like 25-day arena tour, and I'm lucky enough to say I was involved in the winning band, and that was it really. And we're on
You were a
a
quarter of
quarter of that band. I'd say a half, but
it. Don't tell
that
the
quarter
boys.
of the band, thank God, a quarter of the
What
band.
are the boys' names in the band? And do you get on well with them? And how did this all come to be? I want to hear everything, Matthew. I want you to lay it on the table. I want this. I want to know everything about Matthew Nolan here. I want to know everything about the process of the search and Little Mix, how you felt.
Yeah,
Did you feel anxious during it? I just this I have been so interested to talk to you, and you've been a busy man in fairness.
yeah, quite busy these
Been a
days.
busy man, tough man to reach, eh?
No, never that far
Actually,
away.
no, he's the quickest to reply out of anyone I know. I'm staring right at the camera here at my friends, for example. But he's the quickest person in the world to reply. Like I send him a voice message, and he is probably getting thousands of messages, and he's just like, Grant, straight away. Good on you, Matthew.
If I see it, I'm there, bro. But that's the thing. It's like, so the band, yeah, we've got Jacob, Patrick, and Harry. I live with Patrick and Harry at the minute. We all live together in London. Jacob already lived in London, so he didn't need to move. We were all living outside London, obviously. And then we got put together. So obviously, everyone the six bands on the show, everyone went on as solo artists, and then they were putting together a band. So it wasn't like a One Direction surprise thing. Everyone knew they were getting put in a band, and yeah, we went through the search. We were lucky enough to live in a really nice house, for example, for 6 weeks during the live shows. It was it was amazing. We got to do some fun stuff. Like we got to obviously work with like great like choreographers and like vocal coaches, and
And when was this match? Sorry again, what day?
this was in October for us. So
Of 2020.
yeah, October. So just October gone 2020, and it started off in January 2020, but then January, February, March was like the audition stage, and then COVID happened, and then when lockdown was lifted, we got to go back over to London to finish, and we lived in a house for like 8 weeks. It was flawless. Yeah, so we all live together now, apart from Jacob, and we're just kind of finding ourselves. Like we've got our first song coming out really, really soon, like this month soon, which is good. It's been a long time because obviously the thing I enjoy the most is releasing music, writing music. So we've got our first song coming out this month, and which is not announced yet, but it's coming out this month, and
There you
yeah,
go. It's announced now.
yeah. Well, I think it's gonna. I don't know the date. I really don't know the date. I wish I did, but it'll be out soon. And
Yeah, hopefully we'll keep this bit in the podcast. Anyway. It'll be out at some point. It'll be out,
yeah, keep it in, keep it in.
and well, you'll be following Match on social media anyway if you're listening to this. So you'll soon find out. And this in September bound on Instagram as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it'll be out before the 30th. You know that kind of way. It'll be out before the end
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
month.
yeah, sweet. And are you happy with it?
Oh mate, yeah, it's a really nice song. It's like kind of like script meets it's like what I grew up listening. It's kind of like script meets like early Coldplay meets a bit of like new pop. Like it's like yeah, and then it kind of like Ed Sheeran had a band. It's just very like feel good. It's not like a ballad necessarily. It's kind of just like yeah, let's sing, let's love each other kind of thing.
The kind of thing that if you were in Crow Park in front of like the
Yeah,
Coldplay concert would
yeah.
set.
You'd know the song by the second chorus. That's the
Okay,
plan.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you'd be
can't wait to
singing.
hear it.
Yeah, thank God. I'm really looking forward for people to hear it, man. And then yeah, that's it really with the band. The band is just we're lucky. We've got a great manager now. Our manager is his name's Roy. He's scouting for girls. If you remember scouting for girls,
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I still have one or two of the songs saved on the on Spotify.
he's our manager.
No way. That's class. What was it? What was his name again?
His name's Roy Stride.
Roy Stride. Cool name
Yeah,
too.
he's a great songwriter as well. He's quite a famous songwriter. He's written with like One Direction and like 5 Seconds of Summer and stuff. He's really really good. So
That's very, very cool. Yeah.
me and him are very. I'm very lucky to be able to. He's taken me under his wing as a songwriter as well as the band. So it's very 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 happy. And obviously I grew up listening to his music, so it's fun. So
Yeah, that's very fun. It's come full circle now.
yeah, well, I didn't really know his face, but I definitely knew his songs. I definitely knew "She's So Lovely."
He's so lovely. Yeah, what a song.
But yeah, man, that's it. So we're just kind of living, man. I think I don't put. We've got a lot. There's a little bit of pressure with like, you have to stay active on TikTok, and I hate TikTok. You have to stay active on
You
Instagram.
hate TikTok?
I love going on it, but I just don't like making them. So it's kind
Do
of
you
like,
find it in arduous? Like, you don't have someone that you can go, here, could you edit this for me, please? Do you have to edit yourself?
we have. Well, see, Harry's brilliant at that. And then
Is yeah.
close friend Becky, who sometimes helps us. She's a YouTuber. She's a really famous YouTuber. She's good with the edits and stuff, and she kind of helps us. So like that, we've got a good team around us if we need anything, like whether it comes to like live music, songwriting, the silly things like a TikTok. We've got a good team around us.
You see, that's what you need. If you have that, then he's all built together. It's
Yeah.
not just one person going to the top. You're all kind of. And I noticed that about the band and even the social media, because like whether we like it or not, like I'm not. I love social media, what it's done, but I don't like what it's done in other ways. You know what I mean? In both senses of the ways. But I feel like your social media is at a, like when you look at your band as a collective, sometimes you look at bands and one person could have a crazy amount of followers and the other ones could have, you mightn't, like Imagine Dragons, for example, like Dan Reynolds has so many millions, and like Wayne Sermon might have a quarter of that. But it's not because of their talent, it's just because of, I suppose, who's the front man. But with
Yeah.
you, it seems like you're all pretty much equal. Like
Yeah, near enough. Like it's like I think like there might be like 3,000 is the biggest gap, 3,000 followers, which is very small because you look at there's bands where like for example like I don't want to name names, but like I don't
Don't
know.
tell it. I hope Imagine Dragons don't fucking sue me.
But like like people, it's also people do things in their own life. For example, like people are married to like famous people who like people in bands could have like I don't know what you mean. I've seen people with like 15 million and another band member have like 5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like to introduce someone right now to the podcast. Someone new, but someone who, if you have listened to the first podcast episode of OBV or OB After Hours podcast, you'll notice that I definitely didn't edit it because I can't edit stuff. It wouldn't. You'd hear echoes and you'd hear it from probably Scotch Hall and we're in Southgate right now. So you wouldn't want that. So Jake Moran from Aurora Events, he is killing it. He is. I put it up on my story. So like how it went was I got laser eye surgery about 6 weeks ago,
Oh,
and
did you?
and then like
Nice.
I had 2 days in isolation, 3 days in isolation because I couldn't see. So I was
Yeah.
listening to things. I was listening to your music. I was listening to Imagine Dragons, but I was listening to podcasts for the first time properly, and I just came out of it with completely refreshing. I'm going to start a podcast. You know
Wow.
what I
Yeah.
mean? And then I put it up on Instagram, not having a clue what I was at really. I just, I suppose, learn as quick as I can. And Jake, I said, anyone go to Edmund podcast? And Jake Moran was like, Yuppa. So I think he probably didn't say Yuppa.
Probably
I
did.
won't quote him on that. He probably said, yes, I'm whatever. But he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And I'd recommend giving him a follow because he also does music. He does alternative music. That's sick. He's a radio channel. He's good. Like he's good.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen that Aurora thing. I didn't realize it was Jake.
Yeah, that's Jake. Do you want to say hello, Jake? What's happening there? What's happening? We've a third member to the group tonight, Match. Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's all about keeping it local, innit?
Keeping it local. I'll be back soon. I'm looking forward to coming home. I'd love to do a gig in like a year's time in like Indrada, somewhere that I used to gig. I used to do a lot of gigging in the town. I used to gig.
Yeah, and that's where I'd like to ask you one thing about that. That was actually on my mind. I think you've read my mind, to be honest. So, when you were, let's say, starting off, I've always wondered this. Yeah, let's say I rock into McPhail's back in the day, yeah, or McHugh's or wherever, and I see Matthew Nolan's play or the Cross. I've seen you loads of times in the Cross as well. But like, what's going through your mind the first while of ever performing, but on front of people that you know and people you mightn't like, or people, you know what I mean? Like how you can't like everyone, so there's going to be criticism. There's going to be this, is going to be that.
Of
How do
course.
you kind of cope with that from the start, and especially in your local town where you see people,
Yeah,
like,
it's a great question. I think I love this because I growing up I was always like just like I played football, I played sports. I didn't really sing until I was like 16, apart from like the odd Simon skill maybe at like an event and something. But like so when I started like gigging and like started like putting videos on Facebook, it was really like easy to like make fun of me like in like a friendly way, like a harmless way,
yeah, yeah.
No, which is fine. And but then like I was always quite like I used to think I was thick skinned, but I wasn't really. But like now I'm obviously so thick skinned. But it's like back in the day, like it would just be like, as a kid, and especially when you do something like that, like at the start, you kind of like sometimes like you do want not attention, but you do it because you want people to know. Because if you think you're good at something and you're a kid, you want people to know you're good, right? So
Yeah,
it's like that's why I started gigging. I gig I used to like sneak in early to McPhail's because you had to be 18, but I was 16, so I'd sneak in before like an hour before the open mic just so I could play at the open mic and stuff. And I'd play my own songs. And then like the thing is, I'd play my own songs to a room full of like 25 to 30-year-olds on like a Thursday night when I had school the next day. I should have been doing my homework, and I'd be singing all of my original songs, and then no one would listen, no one would like clap, and then someone would come on later and sing "Don't Look Back in Anger" and get the room on wheels, and I couldn't understand that because I was
yeah,
like.
yeah.
I couldn't now, but then trust me, I've done my fair. I did like over 150 gigs in 2019, like where like I was doing covers and like just like for like a job. So like I understand, but back then I was like, I'm gonna play songs I write because I want to be, I want to be an artist, and like I just didn't understand it. But I had the same. I was just very like my feet were on the ground. Like you weren't like you could kind of say what you want, and yeah, it might bother me, but it's kind of like I know the vibes. It's like I know that I'm standing up here and hopefully please God like God willing, one day I just had a feeling though, and I just knew it was like one day they'll like if anyone ever like made. To be fair, I was always very lucky to get like a good reception. Like sometimes you don't get a good reception. You know, you might have a week where someone like slags you off for a week or something like that. But then, like,
Yeah,
you might, I was very lucky to get a good reception. I always got a great like Drogheda was so good to me, always like beyond good to me. So I was lucky, but I kind of knew in my head I was like, if you don't support me, it's like it's fine. Like I'm still going where I'm going to go, regardless of your
yeah, yeah,
support. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, like,
Like, yeah,
what does your opinion have to do with anything? Like, and to be fair, like opinions can like shape people. Sometimes, like an opinion would keep you up at night, but it's like at the end of the day, I grew into it very fast at like 16, 17, where it's like I want to be, who I want to be. For me, it's like I got a lot of like kind of attitude from my friend Leighton, where
respect
like
that, and I respect, love Leighton. Yeah,
yeah, like that guy's just crazy, and like he learned that at a young age. Like he's like he matured way too fast, but like now it's a great thing, and like he matured really really fast in like his way of thinking, and I definitely like learn it all from him, like or with him, at the same
yeah,
time,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like we just both realized at the one age we're like we were 16 thinking about being like thinking about living in Los Angeles in the Beverly Hills and stuff, and we were thinking about like doing all this great when like normal 16-year-olds you weren't not saying we just had this ambition that was like so I learned very quickly is like if you don't like me that's fine, I know you don't like me, so I'll just keep doing
I
what I
have my sights set on something, and if you happen
yeah,
to try come to in my way, don't worry about it because I'm not even going to acknowledge it. You know what I mean? I'm just going for what I need to do. Yeah,
yeah man,
and the only negativity that I'm going to take is constructive. If it's just
yeah
negativity for the point of being negative, that's pointless. You know what I mean? I can't understand people like that. Whereas you're even like when I opened this place, like, and it was daunting, like it was very scary opening a shop, obviously. But because I had everyone around here, like everyone around you, like yourselves,
hmm
everyone, even Leighton and everyone I knew who I didn't wasn't best friends with, but I knew of and like was
yeah yeah
talking to, everyone was so supportive, like, and but that's what it's all about. Like if you're let's say Leighton supporting me now and I support him, then someone else we might meet a third person like yourself, let's say, and then it's just a domino effect. Like I think that Drogheda is a very underrated town slash city because once Laytown, Bettystown, Mornington collide into Southgate, like,
hmm
and connect into Drogheda, I'd say they're gonna just try and make Drogheda one big city. Like,
oh wow.
I don't know that. I think that's their plan.
Oh wow, that'd be cool. I think yeah, I love Jordan, man. It's it's like everywhere. You get the good things and the bad things, and it's. I've never had any. I've never had any problem with being who I want to be in that sound. So I've nothing. It shaped me definitely, especially in like my 18, 19, 20 when I started gigging. With the likes of like Dahi and Ad Fal and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah. Two boys, and they're coming on the podcast very shortly.
are they? Oh,
Yeah, yeah. You might
amazing.
hop on for 10 minutes to say hello.
Amazing. I might do 100%. They're just like Dahi helped me a lot. Getting me gigs, whether it was gigs for like cover sets or like trying to push my original music as best he could. Like Dahi's a good guy, man. I have a lot of respect for him. Oh yeah,
Dahi is a legend.
yeah. And I think that's the thing with Jordan is like I think what I needed people like that around me to want for me to want to improve. I needed to not be the most popular musician in the town for me to be the most popular musician in the town. And I needed that. And Dahi, for example, like it's never been like competitive, for example. But it's like in the back of my head, it's like if I was the only person singing, because when I was 16, this is my point. When I was like 16, I only saw myself putting videos on Facebook because I was 16. I wasn't introduced to Dahi. I wasn't introduced to like Adfa. I wasn't introduced to these guys who were doing it as well. So because I was in school and stuff, the only guy doing it, I thought I was the only guy doing it.
You weren't aware of them, yeah.
Well, yeah. And then when once you become 18, you start going out and stuff. Like those guys, like just like they they just meeting other people like that is just amazing because then like there's been many a time I've went for pints with them, gigged with them, had a sing along with them, after parties with them, singing a few tunes, and that's just what it's about. And like, yeah, man, legends, and like, I love it. I love that place. I miss it a bit. I'm looking forward to going for a pint with them.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask, like I didn't want to kind of jump in straight away and say, do you miss home? Like, but like it must be tough.
Yeah, well, it's not. It's
Or
not.
it must be unusual to just being completely different
Yeah,
surroundings.
I got a tattoo last month saying homesick on my leg.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's class.
Says homesick. And then I actually got two tattoos yesterday. But says maybe. And then basically I don't miss home. Oh no, I do miss home. I think I go in waves of like like some days I'll be like in my apartment in London and I'll kind of look at the window and be like, what am I doing here? And then I'll be like, oh, and then like maybe the next day I'll be like, oh, that's why I'm here. It's very like I'm a home bird, and like it's not necessarily I'm a home bird to like grain draft. I'm a home bird to routine, and I'm a home bird to like normality. And it's kind of hard. Like London's a big city, and London's London's amazing. Don't get me wrong, and I love it. And I'm only I feel like I could live here for 5 years and I still wouldn't see everything. Like it's great. It's and it's very me. But some days I'm not even very me. So some days I just need my grain rat, and some days I
And can I ask, like, what would be, because, like, for example, like, I have a tendency sometimes, like, let's say if I'm in a situation for a week and 4 days in, I'm like, wait, what am I doing? That I get that kind of vibe, yeah. So, like,
yeah
now, thank God, I have a routine in which, like, I'd either do breathing exercises or like the Wim Hof or the cold or whatever to just almost like recenter myself, like, and go, right, what am I here for, what's my purpose, what would you do to, like, kind of, I suppose, stop that?
I think my mom told me this great quote not so long ago. It's there's great power in understanding that it's not always going to be great. There's great power in understanding not every day is going to be good. So I think having the bad day or having the good day will make you or having the bad day is like okay, and having the bad day and being able to say okay, this is a bad day.
I,
That's kind of what I do, and it's like
I like that, yeah.
also if I am having a bad day, I will totally embrace it, and I will just get into bed, and I'm because my good day, I'm such a like go for it person. I'm such a
Go
go
getter, yeah.
person. I'm such a like I like to be positive as best I can and stuff. So when my body slash my brain is telling me that it's gonna be a bit of a slow day, I embrace it and I don't fight it. I'm kind of like if I'm having a bad day, you'll catch me in bed and I won't go to the pub and stuff. But then you best believe when I do go to the pub on the good day, we're gonna it's gonna be just as good.
You're yeah, you're something else, yeah. Yeah.
It's just like not even that, but it's kind of just
I'm joking, by the way. Yeah, Matthews. I've never actually seen Matthew drunk before, right?
what?
Don't think so.
Oh my god, look at you.
I know, yeah. Probably. I've no experience. Whoa, look at the hair.
Well, yeah, man, I just got out of the shower, so it's all floppy.
Genie, my God. It's mad. You have a fringe and I don't for the first time. Like,
Oh yeah, I've had a fringe for quite a bit now.
yeah, fringes are the way to go. Like,
Your hair looks lovely there. It looks good.
oh, thank you. I just was like, after the laser eye surgery, for some reason, I was just like, I don't want glasses and I don't want a fringe. So it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah. You look
right,
good,
right,
man. You look great.
that should stop. Jake, any sign of that video there, huh? Oh, I have the video on my master, sure. Your dad was probably what the highlight of my day. You come second, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Thankfully.
yeah, you come second. So you know what's I'm gonna pop on now on the if I was in Donegal, I'm gonna pop it on the telly. I'm gonna pop it on the telly for you, Matthew.
Yeah, deal.
Here we go. Right, Matthew Nolan. I'd like you to say hello to your dad.
Oh, look at him, gorgeous man he is.
Right, here we go. We're here with Jim. This is Matthew Nolan's dad. Say hello, Jim.
Hi guys.
How are you? Would you like to say anything to your son who's about to be on my the second episode of OB After Hours?
Well, do you know what I'd say to him is, that we miss him. He's doing great. And, wish him every success going forward when he's actually starting gigging over there in the UK. And looking forward to seeing him next year with Little Mix.
Sweet. Brilliant, yeah. That's it, yeah. We're all very proud of Matthew from Drogheda. It's great to see someone local doing so well, like, it really is.
Well, look, he has a passion for it. We didn't know he had it. That we only started singing when he was about 14, 15.
Really, eh?
Yeah, and we didn't realise he had a talent for writing.
No
and
way.
All of a sudden, bang, he says, I want to be singer-songwriter. And the songs he was writing was actually blew us away.
Really, eh? No way. Yeah. That's interesting.
So it's a talent that came to him later, I think,
Yeah.
He always had a flair for writing, I think, but we didn't think he'd come up with all these heartbreaking songs.
Yeah, it's good.
So I think he must have been in a previous life, that way. Because I don't know, he hasn't been in love that much, but yeah, he has.
All songs were in love.
And breakups, so it's funny. But no, what I'm really like, and the BBC iPlayer Empty Seats tour, that was really, really good. Now I must say, there was 3 episodes from the BBC, and the 3 songs on that I just think are excellent.
Really, yeah.
And they hopefully release those now in the next couple of weeks.
Oh jeez, that's great, yeah. God, it's got a lot of momentum going forward, and the tour as well.
Yeah, well, I think they want to try and get a bit more momentum before the tour starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So because it's a long time between now and next April, so they have to be doing work, I'd say.
And the last year and a half didn't help either.
Hasn't helped, but I think it's helped them in some ways because they've got to know each other a lot better.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Yeah.
So they're not actually like 4 strangers being just dropped into a house. They've had time to be away with each other
and go through something difficult together as a group. Yeah, no, that's incredible.
Well,
but you can see in the videos they post, like, they are very. You'd think they're together forever. They're best friends.
Yeah,
like
they're very close.
Yeah,
and they've all got a sense of humour that's slightly different. That makes them all.
That's incredible.
So remind me of the monkeys from the 60s.
Yeah,
where the 4 guys got together and just sort of very funny, very witty. And but yeah, good. Yeah. Look, it's great to see them. And you say a local lad doing well. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's hard to believe that we're sitting here and Matthew went to your mum's Montessori play school.
I'll actually show you. I think it might be on the screen there. I'll put it on the screen. Like right now, you shouldn't be able to see me, and if you can't see me, I did a bad job of editing it. So this is it here. This is Matthew. This is actually Matthew beside myself in my mum's play school.
No way.
Yeah. I think it was someone's birthday that day. There's my mum as well.
Yeah.
I was zooming out of
it.
And there's
Rock and Ben Mooney.
Yeah, all the boys,
yeah.
And there's, as you can see on the bottom right there's myself and Matthew. Yeah. We always got on very well. That's us. We're actually writing songs there.
There you go. See that? Yeah.
I inspired Matthew to really.
I think you're harmonising there, are you?
We are harmonising. Yeah. What's that mean? But yeah, no, that's great. So it was great to meet Jim. Great to see you.
Thanks for the little invite.
Sure, why not?
See you soon, Magic. Keep on.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it's so funny. You asked him one question and he just kept going. He kept going.
Yeah, no, that was completely unexpected.
That's amazing, man. It's very. Do you know what? I'm watching that and I'm listening, obviously, but it's kind of it just makes me feel like because obviously it's just a little moment and you didn't do it on purpose or you didn't do it intent, but it's like me like going over here.
Yeah,
and doing what I want to do, and then like seeing like you speak about it, like when I'm not there, like it's quite a flattering thing. Not that you're trying to flatter me, but it's just like I take it that way, where it's like you like seeing my dad, because obviously my dad tells me he's proud of me, but it's just like seeing him speak about me and stuff, and to think that I can just do what I want to do and like let it be a conversation is very. It's very flattering, not as in like I'm flattered, but as in like it's a bit.
No, I completely get what you're doing. Like,
yeah, it makes me feel proud that like my dad can like sit in a chair and like chat to someone about
you
just living life. It's a nice positive thing.
I see where you get your not carefree, but you have a way about you that's very likable. Like it's very. Well, it's modest, extremely modest, and just a very nice way about you, energetic, and always like you treat everyone the same, no matter who they are. So like that shines through in your parents as well. So
yeah, they're really really good, man. They're just funny. They're good.
I you know what strikes me, Matthew? Would you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
It depends where you catch me. I'd say introvert, but I think like I'm clearly an extrovert, so like to the naked eye.
Yeah,
yeah. But I think like a lot of people, like for example, I quite like TV, but I more like TV for the free food and and I like doing TV for the like, I like getting my hair done, my makeup done. It's fun. I like that stuff. But like if any of my cameramen are watching this, they like I switch off so easily and like and like I really don't, and I'm kind of like bad. For example, like. You'll catch me wandering and like I'll often like not care that the camera's on. So like they'll be like, Matthew, come on. And I'm like, oh sorry. So it's kind of like that. Yeah. I love TV for like doing like, because if ever were like a guest on something, it's amazing. You get treated like you get treated really well and stuff. So it's nice, and I
You
do
get
love
treated
it.
amazingly. Yeah.
I just love like someone comes up to you and says, "What do you want?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What do I want? What do you want?" And they're like, "No, would you like coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah."
What do you want?
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what? You mean you can get me a coffee?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, how much do I owe you?" They're like, "No, like you can have coffee." And I'm like, "Oh
It's
my god,
funny.
this is
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
yeah,
Jesus. And
that's nice.
Matthew, are you any good at accents?
Actually, no, really, I'm all like I can do maybe I think I'm all right at like Liverpool maybe or
Do
like
Liverpool. So I met a guy called Danny on my Wim Hof retreat. Yeah, from Liverpool.
oh no,
Yeah, I want you to give me your. I want you to say we're having fish and chips and we're sat on a bus.
I'm not really good at this.
That's already enough for me, to be honest.
What will I say? What will I say? I'll say I'm having fish and chips and I'm sat on a bus. It's not great. It really isn't bad. It's not great. It is bad. It's
It's not great. It's bad.
I know. I have a friend called Liverpool. I have a friend from
You have a
Liverpool
friend called
who.
Liverpool, do you?
Yeah, she's lovely. No, I have a friend from Liverpool who is like the most Liverpoolian person you'll ever meet, and she talks like really slow as well, so it's very funny. And she sounds like, oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
That's very good. That is very good now. My God. I'd love to do an accent tour. One of my second hobbies, not my second hobbies. One of the second things I'd love to do. I'm not good at them, but I just love doing accents because like people come into my shop from everywhere and I'm
Give
like,
me
do
your
you mind
mouth.
if do you mind if I imitate your accent? And they're like, of course. And like two Scottish people were in there earlier and I went, oh my God, you guys are so cool or whatever. They're like, it's our first time in this shop. I've never been here before. Why are we so cool? And I was like, because you're Scottish. You're Scottish, you know what I mean? You're better. You're one of our own, that kind of thing,
That is good.
It's no, it's great. Like can you
That's
do
good.
decent Scottish, yeah?
Scottish. I can't really. I can do like a London one now. I can do kind of like a London one. I
Oh,
can like I can say like Matthew, like what do you want for dinner? Do you want a Fanta or like will I just get you a water bottle? You all right, Matthew? That's my London one is getting all right.
brilliant. If the music ever fails with the songwriting,
No, I'm really bad at accents, but
that's
the London ones when
very
you're
good.
around
Like you and Charlotte Crosby in a room together, just doing it's just speaking will be
Charlotte. Who's she? Geordie Shore.
uh, Geordie Shaw, fire, like that.
Oh my god, I love Geordie
Ah,
Shore.
yeah, they were good days back when we used to go into fusion.
Oh yeah, one of the girls off one of the girls off Geordie Shore messaged me after we won the show. It's funny.
No way.
Yeah, it's
Sweet. No,
funny.
I say that was a moment where you're like, what?
Yeah, I was like, what Geordie? Because I remember I went into my message requests and it said blah de blah with like 4 million followers or like 2 million followers. I was like, oh, I was like, I know that person. That's so funny. A lot of that kind of happened. That was funny. Like, I don't really care for like celebrities as much, but like when you know someone, like when you used to watch them on television and stuff, and or like being able to work with like artists you like. So like I get to write with a lot of people, luckily, and I've like I've got to meet like I've got to like be in the same room as like Picture This. I've got
That's
to
yeah.
like I work very very closely with James from the Vamps.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's how they're very, the Vamps, I suppose, would be similar in a way to the content of the songwriting that like you do.
Yeah, yeah,
It would strike me as something like in the same, if I was in a certain mood, I could listen to you and the Vamps and you'd both fulfill whatever needs.
gotcha. It makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I think like James is proper took me under his wing. He's a
Really? Yeah.
And I actually moved I only live like 15 minutes away from him, so we spent quite a bit of time together. He's a good guy, which is mad because I used to always watch the Vamps and stuff, and that like it's just perception. Perception's a great thing or a dangerous thing, but now we're just like friends. But obviously, I used to like watch them on YouTube and stuff. And obviously, Roy, my manager now, she's so lovely. That kind of stuff is all it's all funny. And then Picture This, for example, when I got to get in the studio and Picture This, it was I've seen Picture This 5 times. It was really nice.
That's incredible. Yeah, that really is. It's like when I met, like I grew up playing snooker and like myself and Connor and I, Granny, if she's listening from heaven or wherever she is, she'd be or she loves a teacher's whiskey every the odd night. So teacher night, I say, but if she was if if Ronnie when I met Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Oh, did you? Yeah.
I like how to phrase this. Yeah. When I was growing up with my brother Conor, like there's a photo of me in my baby book. I might try to pull it up here. Jake could probably pull it up. Come on, Jake. Jake's on it tonight. I might try to pull up, but it's a photo of me and Conor and I when we were about 6 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing pool like that. And where I started when I was 3. I loved it. There was something about it. And I used to look at Ronnie and Alex Higgins, like everyone used to play, like idolized them. And I used to think, geez, I'd never meet them or never play big competition.
Yeah.
And then it went full circle. And Ronnie was eating carrot stick to my house one day.
That's amazing.
You know, like playing him in TLT in front of 800, 900 people. And that's like where, for me, I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's amazing, right?
Is this real? But at the end of the day, some people who meet you might be like, oh, that's magic. See that guy? That's your man who won he won the search. Oh my God. People might be like that. But at the end of the day, you're just doing your thing, like no different than Johnny down the road doing his thing. But it's just that yours is you're following what you love. You know what I mean? That's
I think it was like that for me when I met McFly. It was really cool because obviously I grew up loving McFly, man, and then like getting to meet them was really cool. It got like, my sister was jealous and stuff because obviously McFly were really big when we were growing up. That kind of stuff's good. Obviously, meeting Little Mix was really cool, but
I'd say that was very cool. Yeah. But I'd say you got so used to like being with Little Mix. Like, what are they like? Is because like they seem like the coolest soundest ladies in the world.
they're really, really lovely. They're really, really nice. They're just normal girls, right? They're just normal girls who have
Very good voices.
made their dreams come true. They're really, really nice.
Oh yeah, this is interesting. There's an artist called Larabelle from Donegal. You might have seen on my story. So
Okay.
I was walking. It was lashing rain. I was up in Donegal for a week, like with a few of my friends, and it was lashing rain. Down Drogheda it was 21 degrees and scorching hot, but up in Donegal it was 14 degrees and like pissing rain. So I was like, oh shit. So the lads were staying inside playing Xbox or whatever. So I was like, nah, I'm going for a walk. I need to see other human beings and have the crack. Like. So I just decided to get up, no jacket, no anything, because I do cold showers in the breathing, so I don't mind a bit of rain. So I got out, I just walked out the door, lashing rain, walked all the way, maybe half an hour down the road, and I got to a bus stop, and there's a girl there. So I said, hello, how are you? What's the crack and whatever? Lovely, friendly girl. And I'm like, oh, what you do yourself? She's like, show me your phone. So she put some Spotify, Larabelle, Monster. And it's a song about mental health that it's about her own personal experiences with mental health. Larabelle, Monster. And being honest with you, it's one of the best songs I've ever heard. Like I couldn't believe it because I woke up the next day and a song was playing on my phone. I was like, what is that? I was in the shower and it was on shuffle.
How'd you spell Larabelle?
Labelle.
Oh, Larabelle. Oh, right. Okay,
I was expecting a little ding, when I got that right.
I think I was singer-songwriter from Donegal. Happy days.
Absolutely unbelievable. And I think that with lockdown, like obviously ruining the pub industry and the local music industry, and giving no support really.
Oh, mate, listen.
I think that like giving more support to young artists like that, like she was busking in Dublin a couple of weeks ago, and I saw the performance. I was like, wow! And she's just like yourself. She's grafting. She's grafting to do her thing and get out there. And if like people like yourself and like I have a little reach as well, so I could get like just slowly getting new people out there. Like I think it's the way.
Shout out to Larabelle, bro.
Shout out to Larabelle. Yeah, I've never met this girl or heard of this girl before. I just bumped into her.
Do you still keep in touch?
I do indeed. Yeah, we
You should tell her to reach out to me.
Absolutely, I'll tell her to reach out.
I'll reach out to her. I'll reach out to her myself. You know.
Yeah, even a little cheeky tag. She'd be like, "What? It would be great." Like, so yeah, that's Larabelle and Donegal. And Matthew, on that note, I think that. Do you have any parting sentiments you'd like to, like, if you were to summarize, if you were to say, right, if you were to say one thing if you want to say a parting note to people, one thing for the rest of 2021
Yeah.
like, what's your wish for people?
Okay. To people listening, I would just say, I'm going to say a couple of things. I'm going to say, first of all, be kind. Second of all, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, okay? And second of all, when you do things with care and when you do things with thought, and once you have good intentions, and once you don't hurt anybody, and once you are responsible, nothing matters. So once you're not like hurting anyone, or once you're not doing something that's like affecting someone, nothing matters. So all you gotta do is look after yourself, look after your friends, look after your family. Because if you lose your job tomorrow, you're still gonna be able to go home to your family. Please God, hopefully, most of the time, you're still gonna be able to go home, whether anyone's there or not, and you're still gonna be able to restart. You get one shot at this whole thing called life, so just give it a go, be happy, and just nothing matters. So just have fun and like don't take life too seriously, because a life lived in fear is a life half lived. So just have a good day. That's all I want to say.
Beautiful. Matthew, can I just say it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. I was so excited about this episode. I was so excited about it.
I was excited as well.
Great to catch up with you.
Yeah, it really was.
And when you're back, we'll come in, we'll have a coffee and we'll have the crack and we'll do an ice bath and I'll give you a tour of London where to eat.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, that's it, folks. Thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of OB After Hours. My name is Ona Boyle. This has been Matthew Nolan, produced by Aurora Events and Jake Moran. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.